And the question to ask is, should you start blogging? Is blogging for you? Now, I get a lot of questions from bloggers over time, people saying, should I dive into blogging? Should I not blog? What is blogging like? How much work's involved in blogging? And I think there's so much doubt and overall lack of clarity about what it takes to become a successful blogger, what it involves, how much work it's going to entail, and really what it leads to as well, because a lot of bloggers get totally, I'm trying to think of the proper word, overwhelmed by the amount of work and time and energy and effort. So that becomes completely overwhelming to them. Let's take this down a little bit. Let's see if I can see it. That's a little clearer. All right, cool. Become completely, there we go, overwhelmed by the amount of time and energy and work and fears they're going to have to face and all this other jazz. So all these obstacles are in their mind, all these fears, all these problems. And they develop this idea of blogging is going to be impossible. I'll never be able to do it, so forget about it. Why even dive into blogging? It's going to be a useless, worthless endeavor, way too much work, and I don't have the time for it. And based on that idea, I keep seeing this thing, too low FPS. Well, I'll see what it looks like when I replay the live and rewatch it. Check myself on YouTube as well. A little simulcasting here. Anyway. But guys, if you start to realize when you ask yourself the question right now, should I start blogging? The fun and the freedom and the pure liberation that can unfold if you begin blogging for the right reasons, the right way, being generous, blogging mainly to follow your passion, to follow your fun, blogging to help people predominantly, like that's your gig, you enjoy helping people. Now, if you start with that fun-freeing driver and with that fun-freeing driver in mind, you have the clarity that you gain in knowing that this is going to be many thousands and thousands of hours of generous, genuine effort. You're going to be facing a lot of fears. You will have a realistic expectation of what it takes time-wise and work-wise to begin blogging. And when you have that realistic expectation in mind, all the silliness goes away. All of the, oh, I'm just going to give up because it's going to be too much work and I can't do this and I'm not connected, all those fears. Then you'll say, from an informed space, from a clear energy to yourself, you'll say, hey, you know what? Blogging's not for me. I thought it was going to be easy. Or you will say, oh my goodness, this could be such an incredible venture. I mean, I'm going to be sitting at home learning how to type words into a WordPress back office to solve reader problems. I'm going to be making friends, creating videos like these, and having fun. And yeah, it'll be uncomfortable, but I could do that for a couple thousand hours to circle the globe indefinitely. I mean, you guys have seen my life. It's often, most people that look at my life of circling the globe for a decade now through blogging don't say that it's a nightmare. It's certainly uncomfortable sometimes, and it has been uncomfortable. There's that hair in there. That's fine. It hasn't always been an easy journey, but it's amazingly fun and freeing. I get to go wherever I want, whenever I want to. I've been to Fiji, Bali, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Peru. I like speaking with my gringo Spanish accent. It happened because I decided to start blogging 14 years ago in 2007. I had to make the decision, and I saw the fun and the freedom and the potential. So heck yeah. I mean, I'm glad I did it. And when you start dwelling on that idea, if circling the globe just feels like it'd be so fun and freeing and amazing to you, then heck yeah, you'll dive in and do what it takes. But if you're trying to decide whether or not to start a blog, the first step to completely take, to own, is to ask yourself why. And when you ask yourself why, then you will, hey there. All right, guys, I'm getting comments. You're getting comments. I like it, definitely. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Why? And when you say why, like, why do I want to start blogging? Should I or shouldn't I? Should I blog? Should I not blog? I'm trying to take advantage of the daylight here. It's going down about 3:20 and it gets dark here like 4:45 now. So if the reasons are mainly, like predominantly in your mind, to have fun and to free yourself, to follow your passion, if those are the main drivers, like it seems like it'd be really fun to blog about a specific niche. If those are the reasons in your mind to blog, then strongly consider blogging. I'm not saying you have to or you need to or just blog, but if it seems like it'd be really fun and enjoyable, then yeah, consider blogging. Blog. Do it, because right, one of the purposes, the real purpose of life is to have fun, to spread love, to help people, to empower. And then the worldly stuff, as far as making money and circling the globe, those fun, freeing experiences too, they rock. Don't get me wrong. Those are nice add-ons or bonuses. However, in your mind, you need to, you have to start blogging mainly for fun and freedom. And there's a good reason for this. If you choose any other driver like money or fame, or you're like, oh, I want to get all this traffic and be known and just make a lot of money, and the money, the popularity, the fame, the business, that does not arrive for thousands and thousands of hours after years of blogging for thousands of hours, because the money and the fame come with practicing a lot to become skilled, credible, and seen enough to gain enough exposure to actually make the money. People are only going to follow your blog and buy your stuff or click your ads or hire you if you're really skilled and they trust you. And it takes many hundreds and hundreds and thousands of hours of typing. So if you're thinking, I want to make money with this quickly, it'll never happen and you'll quit. So don't start blogging if you're doing this. And that's the really big problem out there, guys. That's where most bloggers totally screw up. They start blogging. This is, I don't want to say 80%, but 70 to 80% rough estimate of bloggers out there. They start blogging to make money, and they're doing it to make money because they're terrified that they're running out of money. They feel disgusted with this job they're going to. It's totally depressing to them. So like, I can't keep going to this job. I got to start this blog and make money. But then they struggle, fail, and quit so quickly because they think that if they work really hard, or if they have some hack, or they invest all this money in advertising, that the money will come in quickly, and it never does. So if you're blogging to make money mainly, and after 1 month, after 2 months, you've made zero, you haven't even made a penny, it's been goose eggs, it's zero, you'll look at that and say, oh, I'm going to quit immediately because I don't want to blog if I'm not going to get money out of this thing. I don't have fun with it. I'm not passionate about it. I just want to make that money. So if you're just doing it to make money, the money's never going to arrive because you need skills, credibility, exposure. You got to learn how to blog. And that happens over many, many years of thousands of hours. So that's why you have to love blogging, because the work has to be the reward. And when the work is the reward, you know what's going to happen. You'll keep blogging because you receive your reward, your motivator, your inspiration just by blogging. You don't need anything else. Money feels like an extra or a bonus or icing on the cake, right? And when money feels like an extra, or popularity or fame, you'll never quit unless you just lose your passion for blogging. And bloggers that are really passionate about it, yeah, of course, they switch niches sometimes, like myself, or their passions fade. But most that really keep big time blogging, they stick to the blogging game for a long time. They are incredibly passionate about blogging. The actual writing of the words and videos and publishing the post is why they do it. So as long as they're blogging, they're happy and they're having fun and they keep blogging. They'll never look at a number on a screen and say, oh, I'm going to quit because of these numbers. They're like, no, I always think of John Chow. Most of you guys probably know him. JohnChow.com. He's wildly successful. He's made millions and millions online, whatever. But I saw him speak at Affiliate Summit East for a couple years in a row. And I remember one of his speeches, one of his talks, where at the time he said, I think he'd been blogging for 15 years. And obviously he's made millions and he's known around the world, top bloggers in the world. And he's like, if I never made a penny, if I never made a cent, I'd still be blogging now. That's someone who's blogging mainly for passion. He'd be doing it 15 years later for free. And that's the exact mindset you need to have to become really successful. If you have that mindset, start blogging, or at least consider it, because it's the passion that pulls you. However, do not start blogging if you're doing it mainly for money. And there's just a phenomenal reason I discussed before. The money's not going to come for a long time because it takes a long time to practice enough to become trusted, to be seen as credible, to be seen, to gain enough exposure. It takes many years. Think of this live video. Okay, I'm technically simulcasting. I'll upload it to YouTube. You see me look down here? I'll upload it to YouTube as well. All right. So I will simulcast, and this will be on Facebook, and then I'll upload to YouTube. But to sit here for 20 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes, where I'm delivering this video, this live broadcast in the moment, no rehearsal, ha ha ha. Of course, I've been rehearsing for 15,000 hours since 2007 when I started blogging. But it looks like it's off the top of my head, and it is. But it's not off the top of my head. It's based on what's in my mind. And what's been in my mind has been 15,000 hours of blogging in 2007. Like, this is a skill. Look at most people when they broadcast live. They're very nervous. They're not confident. They're not charismatic. Joking, there's something in my eye. But you see how most people, they really have so many fears in their mind and so much self-consciousness. And blogging-wise, video-wise, they have so many fears in their mind. They haven't practiced enough and faced enough fears and got clear enough that they don't have sufficient skills when it comes to live broadcasting. We're talking broadcasting live. And they're so afraid. I look like an idiot. I look like a moron. People ask me questions that I can't answer, or they'll criticize me, or I'll have nothing to say. That shows that they haven't practiced. And this is with every aspect of your blogging campaign. Like, you have to practice for many hundreds to thousands of hours to get good enough, skilled enough to be seen as credible, to where people actually buy your stuff or hire you, or click on your ads, or promote you, or comment on your blog. You can't make money if you offer a really cruddy looking blog, or you can't write. And then if you're choosing blogging, you're going to start a blog to make some money. I really want to make money. I got to make money through this. You'll never succeed. You'll quit. You will quit. You will fail and quit because the money doesn't come until you've practiced for many hundreds of hours, spanning months, then years, really years. So you might make a little bit of money, but then as far as like really increasing your profits through this medium, you got to really practice for a long time. And what's going to happen during that long period of time of years when not a lot's coming in and you think money's driving, you'll quit. You quit right away. And I see it happen all the time. I've seen it happen so many tens of thousands of times since 2007. So don't start blogging if you want to be popular or loved. That's another one. People want love. They want people to love them. They want good comments. They want the best reviews. Nobody shows up. Nobody knows who you are when you're a new blogger. So don't start blogging for that either. You have to get really clear in your mind, guys. This is an uncomfortable journey. It's amazing, it's fun, and it's freeing. But I'm not telling you that you need to start blogging, because that would be my projection. That would be my greed and selfishness. Now, of course, I love blogging. So I would suggest that you look into it, but you have to make your own decision. And that's another really key point. So far, let's kind of go over some refreshers here. Consider blogging, starting a blog if you're doing it to have fun, to follow a passion, you enjoy helping people, because these are the energies, these intents will help you blog for a really long time, and you got to blog for a long time until you succeed. Don't start if you're chasing popularity or money, because they'll never come fast, because that only happens when you're really the money making aspect of your career, where you actually start netting some income and you become popular. That flows to you, that sweet worldly success, if you will, after many thousands of hours of practice over years. And most of us, we would say, oh, yeah, giving 2,000 hours, giving 5,000 hours to blogging over the next couple of years, that's not quick for most of us, and that's okay. So you want to ground yourself in reality. Just reviewing some key points here, realistic expectations. I forgot what I was going to say. But ultimately, those are the two really refreshers here, real refreshers. But what it comes down to, guys, is you have to trust when you look at blogging through realistic eyes and you're not deluded. You have to trust your intuition or your gut, that inner pull that will say, yeah, this seems like it'd be really fun and freeing, and yeah, a bit uncomfortable and a bit scary. It's going to be a lot of work, but it seems like it'd be great. So if and just something really enjoyable, and there'd be fulfillment there. You'd feel fulfilled and helpful, and it would just be something really fun to explore and to dive into. If that's the case, then yeah, consider starting it. If your intuition's like, do it, then just do it. But I guess one of the points that I really want to make through this video that came up after reading a cool post on my blog, and it was a guest post when I accepted guest posting closed on Blogging Paradise. But it was from a few years ago, and one of my guest bloggers said how people who work a 9 to 5 job or an 8 to 4, whatever, work a full-time job or even part-time, we'll say full-time. Many of those people are completely deluded. They have this false idea that blogging is going to be easier than their job, when in truth, it's much, much harder than working a job. And that's another point I need to make. If you're thinking about starting a blog and you're on the fence, you're not sure if you want to dive into this gig or not, you have to realize 100% that your blogging business, your blogging career, even if you're just starting without any business ambitions, will be much harder, more uncomfortable, and require much more work than your job. And it will not be close. So if you think your job is tough and you think your job is hard and uncomfortable, and sometimes it'll be difficult, blogging will be far, far more uncomfortable. And sometimes it'll feel difficult, it'll seem difficult, and it'll be tough, and it requires so much more work. Because a blogger, even before you have business ambitions, you're still positioning yourself to be an entrepreneur. More than that, blogging involves many different skills to develop, to practice, and to master, to actually get good at it so people will follow your blog. Jobs require multiple skills for sure, but you have a boss and you have a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks. Blogging has nothing, it's nothing to do with weekly paychecks in the beginning. You're not going to get paid, quote unquote. You're not going to make money. And you have a lot of skills to develop, and you're in charge. You don't have a boss over your shoulder. You don't have a company that's laid out all these tasks for you. You, by following a professional like me or other bloggers, will teach you, but you learn to be your own CEO. Forget being a boss, because you run the show, and you're going to learn how to network, how to engage in effective, genuine blogger outreach. You're going to learn how to write posts. You're going to learn how to listen to your readers' problems, how to spot their pain points, how to be more empathetic and compassionate, how to turn their pain points into blog posts, how to format blog posts, how to write and self-publish ebooks when you monetize, how to create courses. You're going to learn how to set up ads. You're going to learn how to design your sidebar. What does a clean theme look like? Are you building a blogging brand? You're going to learn. Do I need to keep going? Does this sound like a job to you? Does this sound easy? No. You have to realize this is real. People say real work, but then they don't understand, because most new bloggers are like, oh yeah, I'll work. And what do? They just dive in and they try to publish 5 posts a day, and then they hit the publish button and they try to post it to 100 Facebook groups. And none of this garbage is blogging. These are nuanced skills, but it's not impossible. I mean, I'm living proof. I was a security guard 14 years ago, 15. I guess I was probably off for a year between when I started my blogging. I can't remember. But I was a security guard 15 years ago. I did not know what a blog was. I didn't know the definition. I had no idea. I had no clue. Yet, here I am. I learned. I practiced. I put in the work. I developed all these skills, and it's far more uncomfortable and difficult. It's the different blogging, because you're the CEO and you're an entrepreneur, especially when you have business ambitions. But even before that, without business ambitions, there's so many skills to learn, practice, develop, and master that it's light years beyond any job you've worked. It just is. Because in a job, you have a boss. In blogging, you're your own boss. You got to get yourself to work. When a company sets up, or just a small business, your job, there's all these tasks, and maybe there's some creativity and imagination. I get it. But with blogging, even though a mentor like me, I'm not doing coaching anymore, but you buy my course, one of my ebooks, I lay out the steps. You as an individual will have to set up your workday. You have to do that yourself. And that feels really uncomfortable for most of us in the beginning until we develop the entrepreneur's mindset. I have this task, I have that task. The kid got sick, the dog has to go out. You got to pay the bills. You got to work your full-time job if you're doing it full-time. Or part-time. A lot of people who start blogging do it part-time. So you still have your 9 to 5 job and the family or whatever, or maybe you're a busy college student, but you still have to get the work done every day, and you have to lay out your blogging tasks every day. There's not a boss to do it for you. There's not a boss looking over your shoulder. This is hard. And it's not about lining up the task and saying, okay, today I'm going to read and comment on 5 blogs. I'm going to write and publish a post. I'm going to do the due diligence and research. But then you have to spend 3 to 4 to 5 hours doing it every day after your 9 to 5 job, after a full day's classes, after taking care of the kids. That's hard. That's why this is far more difficult than a job, because you're doing it, even if you give a full-time commitment to it, if you've left your job or you've built up savings. So you're like, okay, I could live off my savings for 3 or 4 years, and just really, even if you give yourself 8 to 10 hours a day, it's still uncomfortable. And you're going to see, man, this is nothing like working a job. But, really important point here. And this is a big but. If you blog mainly for fun and freedom, the hard work gets easier and the practice gets easier. It's still uncomfortable and it's still unpleasant and it's still like, yet, yet when you're doing it mainly for, let's say, the blogging being the reward, the work being the reward, then all those fears and obstacles that just totally obliterate, and those challenges, most bloggers, those fears begin to dissolve in your mind because you're having fun with the process. You have realistic expectations. You're completely invested in the process and very little in outcomes. And you will, if you hold that fun, freeing intent and you still feel passionate about blogging and you put in thousands of hours, you will succeed. You will go pro. And of course, you have to learn from pros too. So guys, we're about 25 minutes in. This is pretty solid. I want to go take a nap for a bit. It's another benefit, guys, of being a blogger full-time, doing it pro. You set your own schedule. So the key is, guys, when you're thinking about, should I start a blog? Am I doing it for fun and freedom? Mainly, yeah, because it's something I really love doing, because I know the money's not coming from a long time, being realistic. Consider starting it. Definitely. It's up to you. Listen to your intuition. But if you're doing it for money, popularity, don't even bother. You'll struggle, fail, and quit really fast, because the money and popularity only come after the many thousands of hours of blogging work, practice. It's hard work. So you can't get the money quickly because you don't have a time machine. You gotta work. Even if you went ahead in time, you still have to practice. You have to work to get really good at it. So that's why you gotta love the work. It's like professionals in any endeavor, these top entrepreneurs, these iconic CEOs, these professional athletes that reach the top. They talk about passion and love because they know it takes a long time to practice, to create, to connect, to develop your skills, to actually do this to the professional level. And realize, guys, it's amazing. It's fun. There's just so many sweet benefits of circling the globe. And if you want to do it, just blog from home, to be around your family, to watch them grow. So you're not going to a job if you're just kind of sick of that. Like, I only see my kids for a couple hours each night, mother or father or whatever. And, we spend some time on the weekends, but I just feel like I'm just surviving. I'm giving so much attention and energy to survival mode and supporting my family. Man, I'd love to do that blogging bit. Some people, they just reach that level of disgust. And that's a good turning point as far as a pivot, as far as contrast. But the blogging gig you're going to work is going to be harder than your job. So when you understand that, but you want that fun and freedom more than you fear facing the work and doing the work and the uncomfortable choices and facing fears, then you start blogging. And you start at part-time as you're working a full-time job, but you'll put in 2 to 3 hours a night networking, engaging in a genuine blog commenting campaign, creating and connecting, publishing helpful content, listening to your readers, learning how to format a post, improving your writing skills, writing 500 to 1,000 words every single day. You got to work at this, guys, but the fun and freedom is so worth it. Thanks so much for joining, guys. I'm going to roll about 27 minutes in. I'll upload this to YouTube. Should be pretty good. Go a little more long form. And I like this idea, guys. Maybe I'll start doing lives more frequently, as long as it doesn't come out too choppy on the laptop. Should be pretty solid, but I'll see. Anyway, though, thanks so much for joining, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please click the share button. If it really helped you, and if you think it may help other folks out there in your friend network who are thinking about blogging, but they're not quite sure, you could share it on Facebook or really anywhere you want. And that's pretty much it for today. Until next time, you know what to do. Enjoy Paradise All.